After her harsh words, the human set down his armor and walked away. Best HFY Stories, the desert sun was harsh on Vera. 9, a frontier planet where sandstorms could erase entire settlements overnight, and human towns struggled to survive alongside alien colonies. Smoke rose from small forges, and the air smelled of burnt metal and spice from the markets. In the middle of this harsh world, Cole Maverick walked steadily along the worn path leading into the human settlement of Dusthaven. He was a man of simple routines, fixing droids, riding hoverbikes across cliffs, and keeping peace among townsfolk who valued strength and honesty. His wide-brimmed hat shielded his eyes from the glaring sun, and his leather vest bore the marks of many battles against both nature and bandits. The townsfolk whispered as he passed, pointing at the transport ship hovering above the settlement. Its sleek, shimmering surface reflected the sun like a jewel, though its ominous presence made many uneasy. Rumors spread quickly. The ship had delivered something, or someone, unusual. Cole knew what it meant. The alien council had sent the Baron Princess Ariel to Dusthaven. It was meant as a joke. They expected humans to fail in caring for her, assuming she would return humiliated, proving once again that humans were weak and unreliable. Cole didn't trust the aliens. They had mocked humans for generations, their technology and cold arrogance always a reminder that humans were considered inferior in the galaxy. Yet, despite the Council's intentions, Cole prepared himself. He would not fail, not because he wanted to prove the aliens wrong, but because he understood responsibility. And Ariel, whatever her attitude or history, would be under his protection. The transport ship landed with a hiss, kicking up clouds of dust and sand. Its door slid open smoothly, and Ariel stepped out. She was taller than most humans, her skin pale with a subtle metallic sheen, her eyes a bright, unsettling gold. Her robes flowed like liquid metal in the wind, and she carried herself with a regal arrogance that immediately silenced the nearby crowd. Every movement was precise, deliberate, and every glance felt like a challenge. Cole approached slowly, keeping his hands visible. "Princess Ariel," he said calmly, "welcome to Dusthaven. You'll find our town is simple, but we manage." Ariel's gaze swept over him, sharp and calculating. "Simple? Is that what humans call survival?" Her voice was musical but cold, each word carrying an edge of mockery. "I expected to be sent to some backwater, but I did not expect it to be this primitive." The crowd of humans muttered among themselves, clearly uncomfortable. Cole didn't flinch. "This place has kept its people alive for decades, Princess. That counts for something." Ariel raised an eyebrow, a faint smirk playing on her lips. "Alive, yes. But strong? Independent? Intelligent enough to manage what I require?" She paused, letting her words settle. "I doubt it." Her words stung, not because Cole was insecure, but because he had seen humans achieve impossible things with limited resources, often relying on creativity where technology failed. Still, he knew that arguing with an alien princess, especially one bred and trained to command entire colonies, would be pointless. He nodded instead. "We'll see," he said quietly, hoping the storm brewing in her mind would settle before it reached his people. The first few days were tense. Ariel refused to eat the local food, complaining about its texture and lack of refinement. She avoided the humans whenever possible, wandering the edges of Dusthaven like a queen observing her domain. Cole noticed small things. She was curious about their machines, lingering near the droid workshop to watch him repair malfunctioning bots. She never touched them, but her gaze suggested she understood far more than she let on. Despite her cold demeanor, Ariel could not avoid necessity. Dusthaven was not kind to those unprepared for the desert's harshness. Nights dropped to freezing temperatures and storms swept the sand across every surface. Even a princess accustomed to luxury could not survive without protection. Cole quietly ensured she had shelter, water, and warmth, though she accepted it reluctantly. It was during the third night that Ariel spoke more openly, though still with sharpness. She watched Cole repair a small hover droid, its circuits sparking occasionally. "You humans are curious," she said. "You fix things that should be replaced. You endure hardships that others would not. Why?" Cole paused, wiping sweat from his brow. "Because we have to," he said simply. "Because life doesn't hand us anything, and if we don't try, no one will. And because, sometimes, survival alone isn't enough. You try to make something better with what you have."
Ariel studied him, her golden eyes unreadable.
For the first time, she didn't mock. She simply observed, as if measuring his worth. Cole returned to his work, ignoring the tension. letting the silence speak. Over the next few weeks, Cole began to see cracks in Ariel's armor. She was still proud and sharp-tongued, but she asked questions about the desert, the town, and even the humans themselves. He taught her how to ride a hoverbike, though she struggled at first, her grace alien but unfamiliar with human machines. Each failure was met with frustration, but slowly she adapted. The townsfolk began to see her differently. Once mocking and aloof, Ariel started helping them in small ways. She adjusted irrigation systems with delicate precision, repaired damaged droids with advanced alien knowledge, and even intervened during a skirmish with desert raiders. Humans began to whisper among themselves, questioning the council's assumptions. Perhaps the joke had backfired. One evening, as the twin moons rose over the dunes, Ariel approached Cole. The desert wind stirred her robes, and her eyes reflected the pale light of the moons. "Cole Maverick," she said softly, a rare trace of emotion in her voice. "You are not like the others." Cole looked up from his work on the water purifier. "What do you mean?" She hesitated. "The council expected me to fail here. They thought humans would not care for me." "But you care. You do not need my presence to prove your worth, yet you do it anyway." Cole shrugged lightly, refusing to let himself be praised. "We all do what we must to survive," he said. "Whether you're human, alien, or something else entirely." Ariel didn't respond immediately. Instead, she studied the horizon, her expression distant. "I wonder," she said finally, "if humans are stronger than I ever imagined." Cole's jaw tightened. He had no desire to argue with a princess about strength, yet he felt a spark of pride. Humans often underestimated themselves, and perhaps the princess was beginning to see them differently. Days passed, and the bond between Cole and Ariel, though tentative and laced with tension, began to form. She learned that humans were not weak, that their creativity often outmatched brute strength, and that survival was not merely about weapons and armor. It was about resourcefulness, patience, and courage. Then came the unexpected. Ariel, once barren, showed the first signs of pregnancy. Dusthaven was stunned. The council's joke had gone further than anyone anticipated. Humans whispered that perhaps the child would be extraordinary, a hybrid that could bridge worlds. Cole, meanwhile, knew that the coming months would test him in ways he could not yet imagine. Protecting Ariel and the child would require more than skill with a blaster or a hoverbike. It would require trust, courage, and perhaps the very best of what humans had to offer. And so, under the harsh sun and the endless dunes, Cole Maverick prepared for what lay ahead. The joke that had sent Ariel to Dusthaven had become something else entirely. The beginning of a story that neither humans nor aliens could have predicted. The barren princess was no longer just a pawn. She was a challenge, a teacher, and soon a mother. And Cole, standing silently in the desert wind, knew that the frontier had just changed forever. The desert heat had eased, giving way to the cool shadow of nightfall. Twin moons hung low in the sky, casting silver light over the small human settlement of Dusthaven. Cole Maverick walked along the edge of the settlement, scanning the horizon. The alien princess, Ariel, had begun to show subtle signs of change, not just her pregnancy, but a shift in attitude. She no longer avoided the humans completely. Instead, she observed them quietly, studying their routines, and even asked questions about their daily work. Cole had noticed it too. There was curiosity in her golden eyes, a spark of something deeper than arrogance. Still, she remained proud and sharp-tongued, a constant reminder of the alien council's cruel joke. But he didn't mind. Dusthaven had faced far worse, and humans were resilient. That night, a distant rumble shook the settlement. Cole grabbed his blaster and sprinted toward the source. A band of sand raiders, small groups of alien mercenaries who preyed on human settlements, had descended upon Dusthaven. They were fast-armed with energy rifles and hoverbikes, and they didn't expect much resistance from humans. Cole moved like lightning. He barked orders to the local defenders, directing them to strategic positions. Ariel stood at the edge of the town, her eyes narrowing as she assessed the threat. For the first time, she didn't look fearful. She looked ready. "You don't need me," she said, her voice calm but firm. "But I can help." Cole gave her a sharp glance. "Then help. Use your head, not just your powers." She nodded once and stepped forward. The raiders charged, their bikes kicking up clouds of sand. Ariel moved with an alien grace, faster than any human, weaving between attacks, disabling weapons and droids with precision. Cole, impressed but focused, fought alongside his team. Humans dodged and struck, relying on clever traps and timing rather than raw strength. In the chaos, Ariel and Cole fought back to back. She used alien devices she had brought from her ship, small energy disruptors that short-circuited raider weapons. Cole relied on his marksmanship and mechanical ingenuity, creating temporary shields and diversions. Together, they made an efficient, unexpected team. By dawn, the raiders had been driven away, leaving Dusthaven mostly intact. The humans celebrated quietly, while Ariel stood apart, studying the horizon. She did not smile, but there was a hint of respect in her gaze. "You humans are more capable than I imagined," she said softly to Cole. Cole wiped sweat from his brow. "You didn't think we'd survive, did you?" She shook her head. "I didn't, and yet here we are." The days following the raid were tense but productive. Ariel began learning more about human life, asking questions about their technology, their habits, and their values. She was fascinated by their ability to make do with limited resources, to survive harsh conditions without the luxury of alien tools or resources. Cole showed her how to ride a hoverbike more efficiently, how to repair circuits with basic tools, and how humans relied on cleverness and teamwork rather than brute force. The townsfolk, initially wary, began to accept her. They still whispered about her alien elegance, but they respected the fact that she had fought alongside them. Children watched her with awe as she demonstrated small alien abilities. Not dangerous, just clever uses of energy to fix broken droids or purify water. One evening, Cole and Ariel sat outside his home, watching the moons rise. The desert was calm, and for a moment, the weight of alien politics seemed distant. "You are patient," Ariel said. "I expected humans to fail, to give up under pressure. Yet you keep going, even when the odds are against you." Cole shrugged lightly. "Patience and determination keep us alive, and sometimes it's the small victories that matter most." She turned to him, her golden eyes thoughtful. "Do you ever wonder why the council sent me here? Why they thought a joke would teach them anything?" Cole paused. "They underestimate humans, always. But that's their mistake. We adapt, we survive, and we don't let arrogance decide our fate." Ariel studied him, clearly considering his words. "Perhaps humans are not as weak as I once believed." Before Cole could respond, a new threat emerged. The alien council, realizing their princess had bonded with humans, was furious. They sent envoys to reclaim her, claiming she was their property and threatening Dusthaven if the humans did not comply. Cole gathered his team, preparing defenses. "They think they can intimidate us," he said. "Let them try. We'll protect this town, and we'll protect Ariel." Ariel, despite her initial pride, agreed. "I will not go back without choice. And I will not let my child be used as a tool for their games." The days that followed were tense. Cole and Ariel worked together to strengthen Dusthaven's defenses. Humans and aliens alike helped, building barriers, reinforcing droid defenses, and planning ambushes. Ariel's knowledge of alien technology proved invaluable. She suggested traps, sensors, and strategies that humans would never have thought of on their own. Through it all, Ariel and Cole's bond grew. She began to trust him not just as a protector, but as a friend. He saw glimpses of her vulnerability beneath the regal exterior, moments of doubt, fleeting smiles, and a quiet concern for the humans who had accepted her. One night, while checking the perimeter, Cole noticed Ariel standing alone, staring at the stars. "Thinking about the council?" he asked. She shook her head. "Thinking about humans," she said. "I see now that you are capable of more than I imagined. You fight not for glory, but because it is necessary. And yet, you inspire loyalty, trust, and courage. That is something alien leadership rarely understands." Cole smiled faintly. "Humans aren't perfect, but we try. And sometimes trying is enough." A sudden alert interrupted their conversation. Sensors detected an approaching fleet of alien ships, far larger than any raider group. The council had sent enforcers, determined to reclaim Ariel and assert their authority over Dusthaven. Cole quickly organized his team, readying defensive positions. Ariel moved alongside him, her alien devices humming softly in preparation. The humans watched in awe as the princess, once considered a fragile pawn, now stood ready to defend the town she had once scorned. Children peeked from behind walls, and townsfolk whispered about the impossible turn of events. Dusthaven would not bow without a fight. The alien fleet descended, their ships gleaming under the moon's light. Cole and his team fired warning shots, while Ariel activated a series of energy shields and traps she had helped design. The first wave of enforcers was halted. their advanced weapons disrupted by human ingenuity combined with alien precision. Cole glanced at Ariel. "Not bad for someone sent here as a joke," he said, his tone light but confident. She smirked faintly. "Perhaps the joke is on them." The standoff continued late into the night. Both sides were testing each other, measuring strength and strategy. Yet in that tense silence, Cole realized something important. Humans were not just surviving, they were excelling. Their combination of creativity, courage, and adaptability had given them an advantage the Council had not anticipated. By dawn, the alien fleet withdrew temporarily, regrouping for another attempt. Dusthaven had held its ground, and Ariel's respect for humans had grown significantly. She approached Cole, her voice softer than he had ever heard. "You humans are remarkable," she said. "Perhaps my presence here was not a punishment but a lesson. Not for me, but for those who thought to mock your species." Cole nodded, wary of any praise from a princess. "We'll see what comes next. But whatever it is, we face it together." Ariel looked toward the horizon, her expression resolute. "Together," she repeated. And for the first time, her golden eyes held not arrogance, but trust. The Council's plans to humiliate Dusthaven had failed. The princess had adapted, learned, and grown alongside humans. And Cole, standing beside her, realized that the joke had turned into a story of resilience, courage, and the unexpected strength of humanity. Yet the threat was not over. The Alien Council would return more determined than ever. And with Ariel carrying the future of both species within her, the next battle would not just be for Dusthaven, it would be for the future itself. Dusthaven was quiet, almost deceptively so. The desert winds had calmed, leaving only a gentle hum through the metallic structures of the small human settlement. But quiet in Dusthaven never meant safety. Cole Maverick knew that the Alien Council would return, smarter, faster, and angrier. He had spent the past few weeks preparing, fortifying walls, laying traps, and teaching townsfolk how to use both human ingenuity and alien tech salvaged by Ariel. Ariel moved through the town with a quiet grace, her golden eyes scanning the horizon constantly. She had changed since arriving. The haughty, mocking princess who had once scorned humans was now a determined ally, though she still carried an air of elegance that reminded everyone she was royalty, and the secret she carried, the child growing within her, was becoming impossible to hide. It started subtly. Ariel moved differently, slower at times, needing rest. Dusthaven's healer, a human named Mara, noticed first and approached her cautiously. "Princess," she said softly, "you should be careful. The desert is unforgiving, and your condition, it's delicate." Ariel paused, her gaze distant. "I know," she said. "But I am not helpless. I can endure this, as I have endured everything else." Mara shook her head. "Even strength has its limits." Cole, overhearing the conversation, frowned but said nothing. He had seen Ariel adapt and survive in ways humans couldn't imagine. Still, he knew the Council's attention would not wait for her strength to wane. That evening, under the pale light of the twin moons, Ariel and Cole were repairing a malfunctioning drone near the edge of the settlement. Their hands worked side by side, hers delicate but precise, his strong and practical. The quiet between them was comfortable, a rare reprieve from the tension that had defined the past weeks. Then Ariel paused. She touched her stomach lightly, a gesture she hadn't made in front of humans before. "Cole," she said, her voice softer than he had ever heard, "there is something you should know." He looked at her, concern flashing across his face. "What is it?" "My child," she said, eyes meeting his, "is human." Cole froze for a moment. The words hung in the air, heavy with implication. Ariel explained that the Council's experiments in the alien biology that had rendered her barren were flawed, but the interaction with humans had sparked something unexpected. The child she carried was a hybrid, a combination of human resilience and alien potential. "It is not just a child," Ariel continued, her voice trembling slightly. "It is proof that humans and aliens together can create something neither of us could have imagined." Cole took a deep breath, steadying himself. He had faced raiders, storms, and political threats, but this revelation carried a weight unlike any other. "Then we protect it," he said simply. "No one will harm your child." Ariel nodded, gratitude and determination in her eyes. "It is not just for me," she said. "It is for humanity, and for the possibility that we are more than the Council believes." The revelation spread through Dusthaven quietly, but inevitably. Humans whispered about the hybrid child, their admiration for Cole growing. The princess who had arrived as a joke was now a symbol of something extraordinary. the potential of humanity, and the resilience of those who refused to bow to alien superiority. But the Council did not take such revelations lightly. Several days later, sensors detected a fleet of alien warships approaching Dusthaven. This time, it was not a small raiding party. It was an invasion. The Council intended to reclaim Ariel and her child by force, and they were bringing everything they had. Cole rallied the town. "They think they can scare us," he said, addressing both humans and Ariel. "They think they can take what isn't theirs. But Dusthaven will stand. We will protect her and the child and show them what humans are capable of." Ariel nodded, her hands resting lightly on her growing belly. "I will fight alongside you," she said. "But we must be clever. They are stronger than raiders. We cannot match them in brute force." The days that followed were a flurry of preparation. Dusthaven became a fortress. Humans worked tirelessly, laying traps, reinforcing walls, and learning to wield alien technology with guidance from Ariel. Cole coordinated patrols and ambushes, combining his frontier tactics with insights from alien warfare manuals. When the alien fleet finally arrived, the battle began with a dazzling display of strategy, speed, and resilience. Hoverbikes zipped across the cliffs, human defenders used clever decoys, and Ariel's knowledge of alien tech disrupted enemy weapons. Cole led the charge, coordinating attacks with precise timing, while Ariel provided support from strategic positions, her powers now tuned to defend, not just observe. Amid the chaos, a smaller unit of Council enforcers attempted to infiltrate Dusthaven's central hub, aiming for Ariel. Cole anticipated their move. With humans and Ariel working together, they created a trap, energy nets and laser-guided obstacles that neutralized the enforcers without harming them. During the skirmish, Ariel's hybrid child made its presence known. Even in the womb, its potential influenced Ariel, enhancing her reflexes and focus. Cole noticed subtle shifts in her movements, faster reactions, heightened awareness, as if the child was already shaping the outcome of the battle. By the end of the first wave Dusthaven had held, the Council's forces retreated temporarily, regrouping for another attempt. Humans celebrated quietly, but Cole knew the real challenge was only beginning. Ariel's condition made prolonged conflict risky, and the Council would not give up easily. One evening after the battle, Cole and Ariel stood atop a dune, overlooking the settlement. The twin moons reflected in their eyes, casting a quiet glow over the sand. "This child," Ariel said softly, "is more than a symbol. It is hope. Hope for humans and for all of us. But it also makes you a target." She looked at him, determination in her gaze. "Then we prepare. Together." In the days that followed, Ariel shared more of her knowledge with the townsfolk. Humans learned to adapt alien strategies to their own frontier style, combining cunning, resourcefulness, and courage. Children played near the defenses, unaware of the larger war looming, while adults trained and fortified. Ariel's bond with Dusthaven grew stronger, her respect for humans deepening with every passing day. Cole watched her closely. He had always respected human ingenuity, but he had never witnessed such a seamless blend of human determination and alien capability. Ariel was proof that even a being bred for arrogance could change, could learn, and could trust. Then came the warning. Sensors detected a new fleet approaching, larger and more organized than before. The Council had brought reinforcements, determined to reclaim Ariel and the child. Cole knew the upcoming battle would be decisive. Failure was not an option. He gathered the town and spoke with quiet authority. "This is not just a fight for Dusthaven," he said. "It is a fight for the future of humanity, and it is a fight for Ariel and her child. We will not falter. We will not fail. Together, we are stronger than they imagine." Ariel stepped forward, placing her hand gently on her belly. "The child will see the strength of humans," she said, "and the courage of those who refuse to give up." As the twin moons rose high, Dusthaven prepared for the coming storm. Humans and aliens, once divided, now stood together, united by a common cause. The hybrid child, still unborn, had already begun to shape the destiny of both species, and Cole Maverick, ever vigilant, knew that the next battle would test every skill, every ounce of courage, and every lesson Dusthaven had learned. The Council would not expect what came next, and that, Cole realized, was humanity's greatest advantage, the ability to adapt, to survive, and to triumph when others underestimated them. The desert winds whispered across the dunes, carrying the promise of conflict, the hope of survival, and the quiet power of something extraordinary growing beneath Ariel's care. Dusthaven was ready, not just to survive, but to redefine what it meant to be human in a galaxy that had long underestimated them. The twin moons hung low over Dusthaven, casting long, silver shadows across the fortified settlement. The humans had worked tirelessly, fortifying walls, laying traps, and preparing for the inevitable. Cole Maverick stood at the edge of the main gate, his wide-brimmed hat pulled low, eyes scanning the horizon. The Council's fleet was approaching fast, larger, stronger, and more determined than ever. Beside him, Ariel rested her hand lightly on her growing belly. The hybrid child she carried pulsed with potential even now, shaping her movements and focus in subtle ways. She no longer looked like the fragile, haughty princess who had arrived weeks ago. She was determined, focused, and fully aligned with the human she had once doubted. Cole turned to her. "This is it." "They won't back down." Ariel nodded. "We face them together. Not as humans and aliens, but as one." The first wave of ships descended, their engines glowing against the night sky. Energy weapons hummed, casting streaks of light across the dunes. The Alien Council had brought their elite enforcers, confident that Dusthaven would fall. But they had underestimated human ingenuity and the bond that had grown between Cole and Ariel. Cole barked orders. Humans moved swiftly, combining frontier tactics with the alien technology Ariel had helped them master. Hoverbikes zipped across cliffs, creating diversions. Traps hidden among the dunes activated, ensnaring and disabling alien mechs. The battle was chaotic, fast, and dangerous, yet humans were holding their ground. Ariel moved with precision, guiding energy shields to protect key positions and using her alien knowledge to disrupt enemy weapons. Every action she took seemed amplified, her hybrid child influencing her reflexes and focus. She was no longer just defending herself. She was leading, a bridge between human creativity and alien sophistication. The Council's enforcers, confident in their superior technology, pressed forward. A squadron of hovercrafts attempted to breach the outer walls. Cole anticipated their move, signaling humans to initiate a trap. Energy nets flared to life, immobilizing the crafts and forcing the pilots to eject. Cole's team captured them quickly, showing efficiency and precision that surprised even Ariel. "Not bad," she murmured, her golden eyes glowing softly. Cole smirked. "We're not just surviving." As the battle intensified, Ariel felt a sudden surge of awareness. The hybrid child within her seemed to guide her, subtly enhancing her perception. She directed humans to weak points in the enemy's formation, orchestrating ambushes and counterattacks with uncanny accuracy. Dusthaven's defenders moved like a well-oiled machine, their courage amplified by the presence of the princess they had once feared. Meanwhile, Cole led a small strike team to target the alien command ship. They rode mech horses across the cliffs, dodging energy blasts and collapsing sand bridges. Cole's team fought with a mix of frontier grit and clever improvisation, outmaneuvering the more advanced alien soldiers. Cole's sharpshooting, combined with the improvisational tactics Ariel had taught them, gave humans an unexpected edge. Inside the command ship, the Council's lead enforcer confronted Ariel. "You are nothing but a pawn," he sneered. "Your human allies are weak. You cannot hope to survive against the Council." Ariel's eyes flared with gold energy, the hybrid child amplifying her resolve. "I am no pawn," she said firmly, "and humans are far stronger than you believe." With a swift, precise strike, she disabled the enforcer's weapon, forcing him to retreat. Outside, the battle continued to rage, but Dusthaven's forces had gained the upper hand. Cole and Ariel reunited near the main gate. The alien fleet, seeing their enforcers falter, hesitated, and Cole seized the moment. "Now!" he shouted. Humans surged forward, using both alien tech and frontier ingenuity to press the attack. Hoverbikes raced through gaps, energy nets immobilized reinforcements, and Ariel guided every move with flawless precision. The Council's fleet began to retreat, realizing their forces were no match for the combined strength and strategy of Dusthaven's humans and their alien ally. Ariel watched as the last ships disappeared over the horizon. For the first time, the settlement was safe. Cole approached her, wiping sweat from his brow. "We did it," he said. Ariel placed her hand on her belly, smiling softly.
"No," she corrected.
"We did it. Humans, you did this. Your courage, your creativity, your willingness to fight for more than survival, it saved us all." The townsfolk emerged from behind walls and fortifications cheering. They lifted Cole and Ariel on their shoulders, celebrating not only victory but the undeniable truth. Humans were capable of greatness, even in the eyes of alien royalty. Days later, the settlement was quiet again, though the air was filled with hope rather than tension. Ariel prepared for the birth of her child, supported by humans who had once doubted her, now fully devoted to her safety. Cole worked alongside her, ensuring every detail was ready, every precaution taken. Finally, the day came. Ariel gave birth under the twin moons, the child healthy, alert, and strong. The hybrid baby's eyes gleamed faintly gold, reflecting both alien heritage and human resilience. Cole held the child gently, marveling at the tiny life that symbolized something far greater than anyone had imagined. "This child," Ariel whispered, tears in her eyes, "is the proof that humans are not weak, that together we can create strength and hope the Council cannot deny." Cole nodded, holding the child close. "And we'll protect it, no matter what comes next." The Alien Council, upon hearing of the hybrid child's survival and the humans' victory, was forced to acknowledge Dusthaven's resilience. Ariel returned to her people, not as a pawn, but as a mother and a symbol of the potential that humanity carried. She stood proud, flanked by Cole and her human allies, showing that respect must be earned, and that courage and ingenuity were qualities humans possessed in abundance. As the suns rose over the desert, Cole looked out over Dusthaven. The settlement had survived, the princess had grown, and the hybrid child represented a future where humans were no longer underestimated. The frontier had changed forever, and humans had proven that even against superior alien forces, their creativity, courage, and heart could triumph. Ariel, standing beside him, smiled softly. "You humans are remarkable," she said. Cole tipped his hat, gazing at the horizon. "We always were," he replied.
We just needed the right reason to show it.
The twin moons faded with the dawn, casting light over a desert no longer defined by struggle alone, but by hope, unity, and the extraordinary promise of what humans could achieve. The hybrid child slept peacefully in Ariel's arms, a living symbol of the courage and ingenuity that had carried Dusthaven through its greatest trial. And Cole Maverick, ever vigilant and ever human, knew that the frontier would continue to challenge them. But for the first time, he felt certain humanity was ready for whatever the galaxy could throw at them. Together, humans and aliens could not only survive, they could thrive. The desert wind whispered across the dunes, carrying the quiet triumph of a people who had been underestimated, a princess who had learned to trust, and a child who represented the promise of a stronger, united future. Dusthaven had endured, humanity had triumphed, and the frontier would never be the same again.